Welcome all our fans and viewers out there here at the Disability Channel. Welcome to the TDC Today Show USA from out of Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, I am from Milwaukee. I am Kurt Roskoff, and we are pleased to give you another exciting episode, as all episodes are here at the Disability Channel. And today we're going to have a guest by the name of Jim Turk, who I met out of Madison, Wisconsin, and I also want to give great accolades to my co-host here, Casey. Casey, you want to say hi to our audience?
Yeah, hi everyone. It's great to be here. This is my debut show on the USA Today show, so I'm very excited to be here.
Very good. So we're going to get started here. We're aiming to highlight some things from out of Wisconsin and kind of get a lot of this Showtime stuff here from the USA. We're really growing and expanding here in the States, and I'm excited to have my state, the state of Wisconsin, on board. And where I am out of the Milwaukee market, we're going to really deliver some strong stuff here for many to follow for years to come. So an exciting pioneering effort we have here. And for right now, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages for our guest, Jim Turk.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities. I just want to let everybody know that we are now live on Roku TV, the world's largest IP platform, and it is a free subscription. Again, the Disability Channel is live on Roku TV, the world's largest IP platform, available in more than 27 countries around the world, and it is a free subscription. Subscribe today, the Disability Channel.
All right, welcome back, and we have ready to roll Jim Turk from out of Madison, Wisconsin. He's a contact that I have been able to converge to because I was involved in bringing adaptive water skiing to the state of Wisconsin, and in my efforts in Madison, I connected to the Madison Spinal Cord Injury and Issues chapter, and it is through that I heard of Jim, and there's a mutual connection by the name of Autumn, and so on and so forth. So things in disability advocacy brought us together, and Jim, I learned right away without having met him yet that he's very involved and successful in advocacy and fundraising with the MS Society. And I also know Jim for his musical talents. I heard of what he was doing with drum circles and with the Madison Spinal Cord Injury and Issues chapter. He was at a meeting where my family and I got to experience that drum circle aspect. So Jim, you want to go ahead and give our audience a little bit more of what I learned of you and what you're doing these days?
Sure. I do a lot, as Kurt said, for the MS Society. So I do a lot for the Government Relations Advisory Committee and for the District Activist Leader Group, things like that. But I also do a lot for the local Walk MS in Madison and fundraise and things like that. I was actually Activist of the Year a couple of years ago now. It was actually just a year ago, probably in 2019, but they gave it to me in December. But I see Kurt on an almost daily basis because I do something called the 12 o'clock shakedown. And this is something many of us with disabilities were probably in our experiencing during the quarantine. We were all finding that we were moving a lot less, right? We were more isolated than normal. And that I realized was happening to me, and my abilities were really declining fast. And so I started doing this 15 minutes of music and movement. I call it the 12 o'clock shakedown every day. And it's at noon. And Kurt joins me. He's one of the many people who join me. I do it on Zoom and on Facebook Live. So it's always going. So yeah, I keep pretty busy both in the in the drum circle realm. I guess I do some stuff for Arts for All Wisconsin, which brings arts and music to people with disabilities. So I do a drum circle there every week still, and I have for the last 3 or 4 years. Things like that. I just stay really busy.
All right, busy indeed. And Casey, you have been able to experience this busyness a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
Emily and I got you connected into Jim's 12 o'clock shakedown, introducing him as the Big Cheese, and some of the friends have fun calling him King Turk. But you want to give the audience a little bit of your experience with the shakedown, and then I think you've got a question for Jim, right?
Yes. So my experience with the shakedown was I loved how interactive it was and how it got me moving. It's great to get exercise even when you're sitting down. You don't realize how much you can do, how much exercise you can do just by sitting. So that really impressed me. Jim, one question I had for you is I know you're working on a new bill out there in Wisconsin for the disability community. Can you tell us a little bit about disability voting and the current legislation?
Yeah, the current legislation for voting for people with disabilities, it's just like actually a nationwide effort. Now we're hearing about it in Texas. It passed in Atlanta, and basically it's a series of bills. It's 6 that were proposed in Wisconsin that are going to take the rights away from a lot of people, but especially people with disabilities. And we're talking about things that things like ballot harvesting, which is a kind of a I don't know, it brings bad thoughts. Ballot harvesting, right? It's a interesting choice of words, but really what it is people transporting ballots to the ballot box for people that can't do it themselves, right? So a lot of these things would make it harder for people who don't drive or who have a problem with transportation to get to the polls. Sometimes you have to drop the ballots off at a ballot box, and they're limiting the locations of those, which is going to be very difficult for people with disabilities. They are limiting or trying to eliminate absentee ballot voting, and that's one of the bills. Which, I mean, I personally, they send one to me automatically for every election, and I love it. But it would just be too hard to get to a ballot place and stand in line and all that kind of stuff. I just wouldn't be able to do it, so I wouldn't bother. So there's a lot of legislation currently in Wisconsin and probably a lot of other states as well to really restrict the voting rights in an effort to eliminate the rights of people that would vote in a certain way. So we just want to make sure, especially in Wisconsin right now, call our legislators and tell them we don't approve of what's happening, and please don't, we're a constituent, please don't vote against voting rights for us. But the ballot harvesting and things like that are all things that we need. So that's one of the main pieces of legislation I've been working on right now.
Excellent, important stuff. It's a pleasure to have the Disability Channel here, able to get out some of this awareness on things that are real for folks at home and building the future of Wisconsin. So it's great to be of service for the voters and building this voter beware and these calls to action. These are needed things to inspire people to call their representatives. So Casey, what do you think? And what's the next question you might have for Jim?
Yeah, so my other question for Jim would be, would you have any advice for people who are currently living with MS or know someone that is living with MS?
Yeah, I mean, it's always really valuable, I think, to go to the MS Society website, National MS Society, and they have a chapter in most states. I guess states that don't have a real high population, they have more of a regional thing, so they might have a couple states involved. Well, Wisconsin for sure has their own chapter, which I'm also very active in, but they have a lot of resources on their website for just things that you might have questions about, simple things. But they also have what's called the MS Navigator service, and so you can call that up and ask them any questions you want, and they will do their best to get you an answer. So it's all just super, super good. But we have support groups in Madison that I help with, and around the state. I know people that run all the support groups really. So it's just a really easy thing. I'm a really easy contact for that. But the MS Society in general in Madison, or it's actually nearer to Kurt than it is to me. It's in Heartland, Wisconsin, which is nearer to Milwaukee. So, but it's a lot of fun. I think that's a great first stop. But certainly, I could point you in any direction in terms of getting help or getting assistance that you need, stuff like that.
All right. It's always a good idea to have many resources and ways for people to advance their own personal agenda. And so I've been very involved in the advocacy community here in Wisconsin. Jim and I know a lot of mutual contacts that are part of this activist network here in the state of Wisconsin. So much to share here. Casey, what would be another question that you might have for Jim on all this?
So can you expand your role as a district activist leader and as a member of the Government Relations Advisory Committee?
Sure. District activist leader, that's more sort of at a federal level. I do a lot of stuff. I'm on a MS activist network where they just send out emails and anybody can be on that. And, you can take, we're talking like 2 minutes out of a month that it might take you, because what they'll do is they'll just send you pre-printed letters to send to your legislators, and your legislators are going to be your senators and your local Congress people at the federal level. And so that's something I do, but I take it a step further. So I often meet with them during non-quarantine times. I meet with them in DC, and one of the days of the conference, we actually go to Capitol Hill and meet with our Congress people and tell them the bills that we're most interested in at that time. Like right now, we're working on telehealth, which is obviously very relevant to everybody, but really people with disabilities and people with multiple sclerosis during the quarantine. And I'm really a big research guy. Research funding for the multiple sclerosis research program, which is run through the Department of Defense, stuff like that. So that's a district activist leader. The Government Relations Advisory Committee, which I'm chair of now for Wisconsin, has to do with more local politics, more state-run politics. And because I'm in Madison, I'm in the capital city, it's easy for me to make it up to the Capitol, again, not during quarantine times, and meet with legislators or testify in meetings and stuff like that. But also, I make enough contact with my local and federal legislators that they know who I am. I can meet with them on a pretty regular basis, and they know who I am. They call me by name. Like I was just talking to Mark Bocan, who's at a federal level, he's my member of Congress. And, I was talking to him about all sorts of stuff, but, he just wanted to know how I was doing, just me personally, as well as all of the other stuff that goes along with it. So you make a really personal relationship with these people. And I always feel like that carries a lot more weight when you're trying to get something accomplished.
There we go. It's music to my ears to feel that we're doing all this for fueling future accomplishments. Again, everybody, you're listening to the TDC Today Show here from the USA out of Wisconsin, and yours truly, Kurt Roskoff from out of Milwaukee. I'm pleased to be here with Casey McKay, my all-new co-host. We're looking forward to exciting stuff here at the Disability Channel, and we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back and tell you a little bit of what we've got up our sleeve. Back after this break.